Hey, this is Amar helping you to live free and be free. In this video, I would like to share with you my journey of doing over 400 hours of meditation last year, 2018. Now, I really hope to inspire people to start this practice themselves. So I'll be taking you through my own journey of why I started to do this, how I meditate, how often, the benefits I get from it, and also some very deep realizations that I'm starting to have, which really start to change your life. And these realizations and experiences are available for everyone. Okay, so I hope you can maybe embark on your own meditation journey after listening to my story. Now, if you're anything like me, or like most people in the self-help community, we hear about meditation being this very, very important practice that we should all be doing every day. As soon as you wake up, last thing you go before you go to bed, meditate every single day. But if you're also like me, you've probably struggled to develop it into a regular practice, because let's be honest, it does feel boring at the beginning and it feels tiresome, and we just quit because we don't get any immediate results. And this was something that I was practicing on and off for a long time, and I would just quit because it wasn't really helping. So the reason when I started to meditate more consistently, it was in August 2017. So around 18 months ago. Now, at that time, I was getting ready to do an ayahuasca ceremony, which I have a video about on my channel. And I was feeling a lot of fear, anxiety, and apprehension. And the only thing that helped then was to meditate. And I was meditating for maybe 3 or 4 weeks before this ceremony. And after the ceremony, I thought, well, I may as well continue now because I've started the habit, and I was actually experiencing benefits from this meditation. So I developed it into a practice, and from there on, I was fairly consistent with it. Okay, I would maybe do around anywhere between 30 minutes to 40 minutes a day. That would usually be something like 20 minutes at the start of the day, then 20 minutes towards the end of the day. I would miss a couple of days here and there, or maybe the odd week, but I was fairly consistent. Then as I went into 2018, the beginning of last year, I kind of upped my practice. So I started to do half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening. So I was doing 1 hour a day. Again, I was kind of missing maybe the odd couple of sessions, or maybe doing a little bit less, but I was fairly consistent throughout the year. At about April time, I really stepped it up, and I believe I was doing around 10 to 12 hours a week. Okay, so that was about an hour a day, 6 days a week, and then on a Sunday usually I would do anywhere between 3 to 5 hours, around about there. So some weeks I was getting for 12 hours of meditation. So I've calculated it all together, and it looks like I was around the 400 hour mark, maybe a little bit more. But that's kind of a nice round figure for how much meditation I did in 2018. Now, the reason I started meditating, obviously it helped me deal with fear, but I had a lot of issues, emotional problems, psychological illness, you could say, that I've suffered with my whole life. So anxiety, these are things I have videos about on my channel. ADD, ADHD, real trouble concentrating and focusing. I really struggled to even read a book. It was that bad. Difficulty developing relationships, problems with addictive behaviors, just extreme fear, anxiety, certain bouts of depression, just very bad stuff that many people suffer with today. So that was really what all of my self-development work is based around, is healing essentially, and you'll see that if you look at the videos on my channel. Now, as I've develop meditation into a regular practice, a lot of these symptoms have begun to just go away, or they've lessened, they've lost their hold over me. I can't go as far as to say they're completely gone, but the growth I've seen is life-changing, life-altering almost. And that's really the message I want to send out to people, that the benefits you can get from this can really heal almost anything. And people may think I'm talking shit, but I'm actually starting to believe this more and more, that no matter what your psychological or emotional problems are, meditation can heal 99% of them, if not 100%. I would even go as far as to say health problems can also be resolved by this powerful practice. Yes, that sounds crazy, but my experience, the more and more of these experiences I'm having, which I'm going to share with you, are really difficult to not believe in, because they're experiences. It's not something I've read in a book, it's something that I have felt, something that I have seen, something that I have experienced. Okay, so I'll get on to that. The benefits I've experienced are, my anxiety is the lowest it has ever been. My attention and focus is the best it's ever been. I mean, I would still like it to be better, but I can now read comprehensively. I can read a book and grasp almost all of the information in that book. Whereas before I was having to read that book maybe twice or maybe even 3 times if I felt there was value there for me. Other things are, my relationships are improving. Any addictive patterns that I had seem to not even be there anymore. Sometimes they may pop up, but for the most part, I have a better discipline and willpower over them. And the practice that I do, if you are wondering what my meditation looks like, now, to begin with, I used to do guided meditations, which I believe are quite popular, but I don't really do them anymore. I don't ever really do guided meditations. I use binaural beats, which is just like music which gets your mind into a certain frequency, because when we meditate, our brain goes into a certain frequency. Alpha and theta states are the kind of states we want to get into. These binaural beats can really help get you into these brainwave states where it's easier to just be. Okay, but lately, the last few weeks, or especially the last month, I'm preferring to just sit in silence. Okay, so I just sit down, I close my eyes, bang, and I just go inward. I just keep bringing my attention inward to the present moment, and I just sit with whatever comes up inside me. And I do that for half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening. Sometimes I'll even do 3 sessions. It all depends how I feel. This is a practice I've had to build up to. To begin with, you may not be able to just sit in silence. That's why the music or the guided meditations can kind of just make it a little bit easier, eases you into it. Okay, I mean, if you can go into it and just sit in silence off the bat, then great, go ahead and do that. But I definitely think the music and the guided meditations will help you kind of get comfortable with the practice. Now, to end the video, I just want to share some very deep realizations that I've gained through these meditations. These have really happened more recently, to be honest. And that was one of the reasons I made the video, because it was only when I started to have these deep realizations that I thought, oh shit, this really does work. Okay, so very, very recently I've having these experiences, not all the time, just sometimes, where I see or I feel like I am just a field of awareness. Okay, I'm just this consciousness. I'm not Amar, I'm not my body, I'm not my gender, I'm not my race, I'm none of that stuff. I'm just a a field of awareness. That's the best way I can explain it. The last time I experienced this, I even said out loud during the meditation, I'm just an aware being. I'm just this awareness. You could maybe say there's an energy or a frequency to it. It's a very, very powerful state to find and tap into. This is what a lot of spiritual teachers talk about. This is the type of things you'll read about in books, spiritual books, law of attraction books. But the books are great for theory, but to experience it is really something else, because the theory is like, it's pointing you in the right direction, but it's not the real thing, if that makes sense. It's like if you are learning to drive a car, you'll read the book, you'll get the theory. That ain't driving the car. You can read all the books about spirituality you want, it ain't going to give you the experience. I believe the experience is only truly available through a practice such as meditation. And if we look at mystics and gurus and the most spiritual people of throughout human history, meditation was one of them things they always did. Like thousands of years ago. This technology is thousands of years old. If it worked for them now, why wouldn't it work for us now? It does work. The other realization I had very recently as well was, this is just a bit deeper than the last one, and that is, I'm not this limited being in living in this world. Okay? So we tend to think that we are this limited consciousness in this huge world. There's just me and there's all these other limited people. Everyone has a little bit of consciousness and we live in this world. The realization I had was that it's difficult to put into words, but the world is in consciousness. It's not that our limited consciousness is in the world, but the whole everything is in this infinite field of consciousness. So everything is essentially inside you. It's like that old thing or that quote they say, your internal is, the external is a reflection of your internal. That's really truly what it means. You are not in the world is in you. And that's really what these realizations have taught me. And tuning into this consciousness and this awareness, it has a certain organizing quality to it. And if we look at nature and the world, nature has cycles, like day follows night, night follows day. There's seasons, there's the sky, the sun, the oceans, all these organizing principles which allow the world to be as it is. Okay, so this consciousness has some organizing principle to it. And as you begin to tune into that and find it, it'll start to organize you. So no matter what your psychological or emotional or physical disturbances are, this field of organization or consciousness has this effect where it just starts to influence everything about you. It just starts to change you on every level. Okay, and it'll pull your nervous system and body into homeostasis. You'll become a more regulated person. You will become you, that person you are meant to be, once you tune in to this field of consciousness. Now, it really doesn't matter how long it takes. I've become quite hooked on it now because I've had these insights. All I can say is start now. Like really, maybe it'll take you a year, maybe it'll take you 2 years. It doesn't matter. This one thing is all you need to do. Like if someone was to ask me what should they do as their self-development practice, I would say meditate at least an hour a day. That's all you need to do. Nothing else. Forget everything else. Just do this one thing for your self-development. And I honestly believe it will change your life in more ways than you can even imagine. Okay, so if I have any more realizations, they seem to be coming quite quickly to me now. I'll make a second video sharing them with you also. If you have anything you would like to add about this video, please hit me up in the comments. I'd love to hear about your own experiences, or maybe any questions you have about meditation as well. Otherwise, if you like the video, if you please go ahead, give it a thumbs up, share it with your homies if you think you can help them out, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Otherwise, remember, as always, to live free and be free. Thank you.